Bonjour mon petit chiflet, Amber here, and it's my favorite time of the book year, if I'm being honest. Of the booktube, bookturnet year. It's early. We're in the middle of the year. It is June 19th. Happy Juneteenth. Ooh, it's Juneteenth. So now, like I said, it's the middle of the year, which means it's time for us. It's the time where we all start doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I have done this twice previously. This is my third time doing this video since being on booktube, and it's one of my most favorite videos to film. I really enjoy recapping the first half of the reading year in preparation for going into the rest of 2020. I'm going to stop rambling because I have a bunch of books to talk through. Got some nice iced water. Okay, so the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2020. I've got my notes here, and my notes match my nails apparently. Best book you've read so far in 2020. I have two answers for that. The first one is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This book introduced me to Talia Hibbert, and I have since read maybe half of all of her works. She has definitely had a part in me getting more into adult contemporary romance this year. I just love Chloe Brown so much. It's one, I think that's still my favorite romance that I've read. And the second is on the complete opposite side of this spectrum, Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I think by now we have discovered that I am a Tiffany Tiffany D. Jackson stanny. Anything she writes is gold, but Monday's Not Coming destroyed me. I still can't think about it without getting emotional, and I haven't shut up about it since I read it back in, what was it, February? I think one of my favorite books, period. I will read anything that Tiffany writes. Let's move on before I ramble on about Monday's Not Coming. Honestly though, if you haven't read it, please do yourself a favor. Be prepared. It's very heavy. It's very emotional, and by the end you're just moving on. The best sequel you've read so far in 2020. Again, I have two answers. For most of these I have multiple answers. First is Soul of the Sword by Julie Kagawa, which is the sequel to Shadow of the Fox. I love this series so much. I love this sequel, and I just loved spending more time with these characters, and just the stakes are so much higher. I just got the final book in this series, so I'm not ready for the emotional harm it's going to do to me. Speaking of emotional harm, the other Wild Savage Stars by Christina Perez, which is the sequel to Sweet Black Waves. And if you've been here for a while, for the past like several videos, you know I haven't shut up about this book. I read it back in April, I want to say, and it still haunts me to this day, just like the first book did. Not enough people are reading this series for my liking. I need more people to scream about this book with. The final book in this series comes out, I think, in August or September. Another one I'm not ready to emotionally wreck me again. What seems to be a theme with a lot of the books that I read, at least the ones that I enjoy. Am I okay? Wild Savage Stars is wild. I didn't get a chance to rest from the moment I opened that book, and honestly, I didn't deserve it. I don't deserve that. I am a decent person. I didn't deserve it. Number 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. I mean, a lot of them. For this one, First and foremost is A Song of Wraiths and Ruins, which I recently got. It just came out, by Roseanne A. Brown. I believe that's her last name. Oh, I hate that. Okay. Sorry, unrelated to anything. I don't know who did this, but like, no. But I didn't ask for it. They're calling her Maddie Healy instead of Maddie Healy. Anyway, yeah, Roseanne A. Brown. I know that book is I so far have only heard really good things about it, and I'm excited to dive in as soon as possible. Next is Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. Honestly, I haven't heard too many people talking about it since it initially came out, but the cover is beautiful and the story sounds really interesting. I have multiple copies accidentally. Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I love all of Elizabeth Acevedo's books, all of her writing. I'm so excited to start this one. I have it on my list of books I might get around to reading this month, but I don't know how that's going to work since I didn't actually properly start reading books until like the 9th. We'll see. And then last but not least, The Archer at Dawn by Swati Teerdhala, which is the sequel to Tiger at Midnight. I loved the first book. More people need to read the first book. I loved it and I can't wait to see where the story goes from here. Alright, next. Most anticipated release for the second half of 2020, and boy do I have the list for you. I'm not gonna really talk about each of them, but I'm just gonna go through them. First of all, Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahern, which is the sequel to Serpent and Dove. We Are Not Free by Tracy Chi. I think that book comes out soon, actually. Oh no, it comes out in September, so happy birthday to me. So many books are coming out in September, and honestly, bless. When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. Alyssa Cole is writing a thriller novel, and I'm just finding this out. I beg your pardon. She's another one of my favorite romance authors. Anyway, Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar. Shweta Thakrar. Next is, by the time this goes up, the book will actually probably already be out. I don't care. It's Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is the companion novel to, or the next in the Brown Sisters trilogy. So this is the book that follows Get a Life Chloe Brown, and it follows her sister Danny. Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim, which is the sequel to Spin the Dawn, which I just read and loved last month. And then last but not least is Bright Raven Skies by Christina Perez, which is the sequel, no, the final book. It's the final book in the Sweet Black Wave, what? Yes, the Sweet Black Waves trilogy. I'm already telling you I'm not okay, because I know I'm not going to be okay. Okay, so the next question is biggest disappointment. I have 3. The first one is kind of like a, like disappointed, but we move on, and that's Within These Walls by Anya Alborn. I just wanted more for the book. It had so much more potential, and I was really into it for the first chunk of the book, and then flatline. The next 2 hurt to put on this list. I also read them in the same month, and it's A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy and Daughters of Inri by Rennie K. Amayo. And I hate that they're on this list. I hate that they're the books that answer this question, because both of them were such highly anticipated reads. I just knew I was gonna love them. They both have absolutely gorgeous covers, and I have a whole review video of me talking about A River of Royal Blood because I just couldn't move on after I read it until I talked about it. Okay, the biggest surprise. That one actually I think would have to be The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ancrum. I picked that book up for Blackathon just because I needed something to fill the prompt. I don't really read like sci-fi books. That's kind of like a light sci-fi, but I just, you know, I heard good things about it, so I picked it up and I loved it so much more than I even thought I would. It reminded me how much I've always loved space and the thought of space travel. And like I've mentioned like in different reviews of the book, I started crying about like page 277 and then didn't stop until I closed the book. Really loved that and want to go back and read The Wicker King now. The next question: favorite new author, whether they are a debut author or an author that's new to you. Both I'm going to mention are new to me this year. The first of which is Talia Hibbert, which shouldn't be a surprise. I just love all of her writing. I relate so much to almost all of her main characters, and I just love reading like romance novels that are about plus size black girls. Some of them are tall girl rights. I love Talia, and like I said, I relate so much to so many of her characters, like personality wise also. Okay, and the second author is Sabaa Tahir. I just read An Ember in the Ashes last month. Last person ever to read this for the series, I think. And I just love it so much. I just love her writing so much. And I have book 2, Torch Against Night, is that book 2? And I'm nervous about what's about to happen in this story, but I do need to catch up before the final book comes out this year. Okay, the next question I actually struggled with first time, and I was gonna skip it, but then I remembered. That question is newest fictional crush, and honestly, I don't know what I've been reading that I haven't really realized I hadn't really found one new fictional crush. Then I remembered that Red and Rahul from Get a Life Chloe Brown, and also Wanna Bet, also both by Talia Hibbert, exist, and I love them so much. They're my top 2 favorite love interests that I've ever read. Well, they're my top 2 because Jojo from the Reluctant Royal series by Alyssa Cole also exists, but I read his book, or the book with him in it, last year. So Red and Rahul, just where can I get one? Okay, and then I also struggled with newest favorite character because I'm like, I've read some good books, but like, who have I really attached to? But for that answer, I'm gonna go with Okame from the Shadow of the Fox series, specifically in Soul of the Sword, because that's the one I read this year, and 2, we get more of his character. He's not just the comic relief side character. Those tend to be my favorite types of characters. Like, they're the comic relief, but also kind of deadly. The Finnick, the Altair characters. So I love him, and if any harm comes to him in book 3, I'm gonna have some words for Miss Kagawa. Also, I love where his storyline has gone. That's my son. And also, speaking of my sons, I'm also gonna mention Taiko from Heart So Fierce and Broken. I always get the 2 titles mixed up, which is the sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely. What a sweet child. What a sweet, precious child. And honestly, the same stands if in book 3 any harm comes to my sweet son. Me and Bridget are going to have a chat. I'm just putting that out there now. Okay, so next is my Always my favorite question. Book that made you cry. And honestly, as I always say, it could be any of the books that I read, because I really am always out here reading some emotional behind books, and I don't know why I do this to myself. So that being said, I have several answers. The first of which, no shock to anyone, is Monday Is Not Coming. That book was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot, okay? Tiffany. It was a lot. The next one is Like a Love Story by Abdi Nazemian. I didn't actually expect to cry the way I did in that book, but I don't know why. I knew what the book was about, but yeah, that one got me. It kind of snuck up on me and got me. Next one, I already mentioned how much I cried reading it. It's The Weight of the Stars. Such a bittersweet book. And the last one was also a lot, and it's Wild Savage Stars by Christina Perez. Just why can't I have nice things? Moving on, the opposite of that question, a book that made you happy. This one's always kind of tough because I don't really read too many light-hearted books, but this year I managed to crank out more than one book. First one would be, speaking of Tiffany D. Jackson, the first one is Let Me Hear a Rhyme. I am officially all caught up with all of her books just in time to be for grown. But anyway, Let Me Hear a Rhyme, while there are some emotional bits and some sort of like heaviness, it's a lot different than her other books. There's more good happening than not. It's not like emotionally taxing. It's just some kids living their lives, you know? It was really nice to feel good after ending one of her books. And the next two I've already mentioned a couple times, I think. And they are Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and Wanna Bet, both by Talia Hibbert. I've mentioned Talia so many times I don't really have to elaborate. I just love her books, and those two are my favorites of her books. I haven't read Danny Brown yet. It comes out, like I said, soon. Then I'm gonna have to wait for my copy to arrive, my pre-ordered copy. So the next question is most beautiful book you've bought or received so far this year. So for that one, the first one is A Song of Wraiths and Ruins. This book cover is and I want to order I need to order the Fairy Loot edition, special edition, if it's still on sale. I don't even know if it's still on sale. I just want those green sprayed edges. Could I do it myself? Possibly. Will it end up as nice? Absolutely not. And then the next two are gifts that I received last week. I don't know who sent them, so if you are the person that sent them, please let me know so I can like thank you properly. And it's these bind-ups. What edition are these called again? The Wordsworth special edition bind-ups of complete fairy tales of the Grimm brothers, and like the complete fairy tales of Hans Christian Andersen. Just, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. I also have the Edgar Allan Poe bind-up because your girl's a hoe for a Poe. Those were all included in the gift, and they're beautiful. So thank you, whoever you are that sent them, because you didn't put your name on the little note, but I appreciate it a lot. Okay, and the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So many. So many. My reading goal, I generally set it for 50 every year. I'm about halfway through now. I'm over halfway through. I think I've read like 32 books this year. The ones I wrote down are My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I know that's going to be another one that messes me up. Night of the Dragon, which like I said, is the final book in the Shadow of the Fox trilogy. I need to read A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, which is the new Hunger Games prequel. I'm nervous because I've heard a lot of mixed things about it. And as we know, The Hunger Games is my favorite series. I'm Hunger Games trash, and I don't want it to hurt me, you know? I don't want it to upset. I don't want it to be bad. I really don't. I don't know what I would do if it were bad. Some other ones I didn't write down that I'm just looking at my like TBR for the year. I need to read The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. Fun fact, I ordered the Fake Rate Hangover Recovery Kit box for the series, and also the Fairy Loot special collector's edition of the series, and I haven't even read the first book. So because I know it's gonna be, it's like an Ember in the Ashes, where I'm the last person ever to read these books, but I know I'm gonna love them, you know? So I'd rather have it pre-ordered and already just have it than wait to read the series, and then that stuff that I know I'm going to want and will never be able to find again, at least not at a reasonable price, will have sold out, you know? I also need to read The Gracier. I have some sequels that I need to read. I think I want to do a video just devoted to reading sequels and like continuing series that I've started. So that is it. Those are all the questions for the mid-year book freakout tag. I have a lot more reading I need to do this year, I'm realizing. So yeah, I'm very excited for the second half of 2020, like book wise. The rest of everything else wise, not so much, but book wise, I'm very excited for the rest of 2020. Let me know what books you're excited to read for the rest of the year. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. All my places are down here so you can follow me, and I'll follow you back, and I'll see you very soon. Bye. This water tastes like dirt.